Hello all and welcome to the channel. Today I'm bringing you a run through of Mercurius, and if you're after an overview, check out the video I brought you guys last week. Now we've got the designer at the top here. It's brought to us by these guys, and this game plays 3 to 5. About 60 minutes, which I'd say is about right, maybe a tad longer with a higher player count. And this is that light/medium complexity game, and we're heading to the Dutch stock markets in the 17th century. We are powerful investors, and I am going to go through some of the company names once and once only because I cannot repeat all these. We've got Amsterdam, these are the companies back in the 17th century, Horn, Delft, Rotterdam. I'm not even going to have a go at pronouncing this one, and Middelburg. And we'll be trading in these companies, which are represented on here in terms of the prices and their fluctuations. We've got commodities as well that each company produces, and they will be changing in price, and we'll be trying to manipulate that and buy and sell to make profits, which is what the game is all about. We've got silk, coffee, porcelain there. We've got copper, spices, and tea. I'll probably reference them by colour throughout the game. So what have we got? We've got a 3-player setup today. There is just me. I am attempting a stock market game on my own. Bear with me. So we have got a player board here. Each player has 3 cards, and these will come into play once each for each card during the game if you wish to use them. We've got dividends, we've got black market, and news. So everyone has got the same 3 cards. You've got a really nice description of the flow of your turn here, which I'll go through. Everyone starts with 5 cards, which are secret. 70 currency, so everyone's got the same here. We've got the money on the side. We have 5 tokens of each of the shares and each of the commodities for a 3-player game. That does vary, and the deck itself is here, and you take 12 cards and form a second deck, which will come into play if you use some of those news cards, which I'll go through. So let's just say red is the start player. On our turn, it says it nicely on here, we are going to, and I should add that the whole game is a stock market, essentially pure and simple. You are buying, you are selling, you are manipulating these prices with these cards in your hand, and you are trying to make the most money. Once this deck has been exhausted, you play 2 more rounds, and when you have a remainder of 3 cards in your hand, that is game end. You sell all your commodities and all your shares at the current price, and any money you've acquired throughout the game, most money is the winner. So back to turn order then. The first thing this player can do is, you can see a shield symbol which represents these shares, and you can see the commodity symbol. They can buy a combination or sell up to 3 things. So they have 0 shares to begin with. The price here is 10, goes all the way down to 1 and all the way up to 25, and the commodities start at 15. They've got 70, so they're looking at their cards here, and each card has a share that will be influenced by a -1 in this case, and we've got a +1 there, and also the commodity may be influenced. So you're looking at these thinking, right, what information do I know? And I'm looking at these thinking, okay, there's 2 pluses on the green share here, and I know that if I play these, which will make sense in a minute, the copper will be going down in price, so I can potentially purchase that further down the line at an absolute steal, well, a bargain should I say. Okay, so we are going to buy a green. Now these will be secret, so the current green share is priced at 10. Now interestingly, if you buy 1 share, it's priced at 10. If you decide to buy 2, the price for each share will be a 1-up because you're buying 2. So 1-up would be 11 for each share. So it's influencing this whole demand and supply. If you buy 3 of these shares, because you can in your first move do a transaction of up to 3 in any combination, it would cost you 2 spaces long, so it'd be 12. And that applies for the opposite direction. If you wish to sell 3 of these, you're going to get a price of 8 for each one. If you sell 2, it's going to be 1 this way, and if you just sell 1, it is the price listed. So I am just going to buy 1 of these. I take 1 from here, and there's only 5 in the supply. We just leave this somewhere in front of us. We pay our money to the supply. I've got 2 more things I can buy and sell. Now, interestingly, in this, the prices don't sway. If you buy something, it doesn't go up in price or down. So I think, having looked at my hand, I am also going to buy, you don't have to, I'm going to buy some silk, I think it was. Okay, so we're going to pay 15 for this silk. We are going to leave it there. Now we're going to take it. So if I had have decided to buy 2 of them, it would have been priced at 16, but we're only buying 1. Now I'm going to go through all my actions here for the red player, and I'll go through what these bits at the bottom do later. I'm just going to get you familiar with the top section. So we have done for up to 3 transactions, and we can buy a combination of shares and commodities done. The next thing we do is take a card from our hand and place it here at the furthest left position. Now we are going to play this card here. Boom. Next thing we do is we change the prices on the board dependent on all the cards we can see on our board. We're only starting the game, so we've only got 1 card in play. So this card is going to have an effect potentially 3 times, and I'll show you how that works. So the green share is going to go at 1, and we knew the copper was going to go down 2. There we are. So already fluctuations in the market. We then move this card to the right 1 spot, and then we replenish our hand from the main deck. So we've got some new information, and we pop that in our hand, and that is this player done. Over to this player. They are looking at their hand, and they can now see that green's slightly gone up in price, and they're questioning, what is the red player up to? Maybe they're going to buy some copper. They're looking at their hand thinking, okay, I've got a mixture of everything really. Maybe I'm going to jump on board this green company, because they may decide to play the plus as well, which we're going to do. So you can all benefit in this game potentially. So we are going to pay 11. We have paid that, and we're going to take a green share. You know what? We're going to go for 2 just to demonstrate. So buying 2 would mean we go 1 to the side. It's going to cost us 12 for each one. So that's 24 in total. Now I'll just take my 11 back just not to confuse things. So 24, and we've paid that, and we get to take 2 of these. Now there's only 2 left in the supply. We've got 1 more thing we could potentially buy. Looking at the card we are going to play, we're certainly not going to go for the porcelain. Maybe we're just going to leave it there. We're going to hold on to some cash in our investment portfolio, in our pot here. So next thing we do is play a card. We are going to play this card. We change the prices based on all the cards we can see. So this is now going up 1 again, and porcelain is going down 2. We move this to the right 1. We replenish from the main deck, and that is this player done. Over to this yellow player then, sir. They're looking at their hand thinking, wow, green is rocketing up in price here. I know that these 2 I could influence and they could go down, but it doesn't matter. You might decide not to invest in that. You maybe want to go for the coffee here. Now, it says in the game that the commodities sway more in price, whereas typically the companies are less volatile. You can see that purely by the companies moving in single digit, well, 1 digit, and these are moving up potentially 2 spots. So I think we're going to go in the coffee game. So we are going to complete 2 transactions. We're going to pay a 32 bucks, and the reason we're paying 32 is we're buying 2 coffee, and because we're buying 2, we go 1 over and the price is 16. So we have paid our money. We take 2 coffee there, leave those in front of us. We've done 2 of the 3 transactions. We're not going to do the 3rd one. I'm looking at these guys, aren't I? So we're now going to play a card. We're going to play this one here. We then carry out the particular movement. So this company goes down 1, coffee goes up 2. So we're already making some profit. We did pay slightly over the odds for it because we bought multiples because we wanted to get in there quick. We move this over, draw a card. They are done, back around. Now let's show you what some other actions you can play on this first step. Now I probably wouldn't do these just yet. So what you have in your hand, you have a black market card, and you have a dividend card, which you can decide to play now rather than doing those free transactions. So you'd forfeit the option to do those and play one of these instead. Now, a black market card is interesting because you'll notice that if I have acquired, several of these green shares here, when I come to sell them, and I wanted to sell all 3 of them, the price I would get for 3 of them wouldn't be 12, it would be 2 down, so I'd actually get 10 each. Whereas if I play the black market card now, rather than take this go, I could put any combination of 3 things on here, and when it comes back around to my turn, on the next go for me, I can sell anything on there, any number of quantity of those 3, at whatever price is currently on the market. So if I had loaded this up with 3 green shares, each green share would go for 12 rather than that slight reduction there. So that's a nice way of selling a bunch of shares or a bunch of commodities at one price, but that is open information for everyone to see. They know you're going to offload. Maybe they'll play something that impacts the price to go down. You would then carry on your turn like normal, so you only forfeit once you play it. So we're not going to play that just yet. Now, this other card is dividends. Now, if you play this, again, you forfeit the top action. And dividends, you get to choose one of these tokens. It's only one time per once per game can each company pay a share. So you put this token, say, on the green one here, and whoever has a green share, so these guys have 1, these guys have 2, so they're probably not going to want to pay out dividends just yet because these have actually got a bigger stake in them. But if they did, you would look at where the green share for that company currently is, come down to the bottom, and you can see you got these categories here. That is the dividend payout per share from the supply, not from you. So at the moment, if they played that, they have exhausted green's potential for the rest of the game. Maybe it's early days, maybe you want the share price to kind of come up here, but they would get 4 money. These guys would get 4 times the 2 shares, so $8. So you have to be mindful as to when you play that. You may decide to play one to sabotage another player. They're all the way down here and they've got loads of shares. You're like, you know what, I'm not going to let them get back up. You play it on their particular one, which you can do, and they're only going to get a piddly 1 or 2 for their dividends. So that is the time you play that dividend card. So we are probably not going to do those just yet. We're going to do our free transactions. And looking at our cards now, we know green's going to go up 1 again. We know copper's going to come down 2. We have open information of what all the other players are trying to do as well. Now, I think we're definitely going to play, well, we're not playing just yet. We're buying and selling. We're going to buy another green share. We're not going to give anyone else the opportunity to get in there at a price of 12. You know what, we're going to go for 2 shares. I think we want to prevent this player from sort of having a majority. Not that there's any bonuses for being majority. It's just you want to, make the most of those cards and these free actions, because you only get to play these once. Once you played that is it for the game. And the same for these 2 cards as well. So we've bought 2 green shares. That is going to go 1 to the side. So 13 each is 26 to pay. There we are. We've got our shares. We could buy or sell one more thing. Maybe we're gonna leave that one now. So we're gonna play our card and we're gonna play this one. We then activate all of the cards. So we've got an increase of 1 there and 1 there. So this is gonna go up 2. We've got a decrease of 4 on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the copper. These slide sideways. We replenish a new card. They are done over to these guys, and they're thinking, okay, I've made a little bit of profit on green. Do I sell out now? But equally, they can see throughout the next couple of rounds, their card is going to +1, and these cards are going to +1 as well. So it can go up potentially another 3 spots, but maybe this player has a -1 on it, so it'll neutralise. So this is all the mind games you're playing here. So looking at their hand then, they do have another +1. They're going to buy another green. Let's go all in here. So, well, there is no green. There's only 5, so they can't go in green. Maybe they're thinking, okay, I'm not going to go into copper just yet. They're going to save their money because they're going to play this card. Porcelain's going to go down a load, and they're going to spend all their money on porcelain, if I can remember that plan. So for now, then, they're not going to buy anything. Maybe they want to do black market. Maybe they want to do... They're going to play a dividend card because they want to make the most of where this is. It's probably going to go... Well, it's in the 4 section now. Or should they wait until it goes in the 5 section? Every coin matters. But passing up this first action, that is big. I think we're going to do dividends just to show you guys. I probably wouldn't play that now. So what's going to happen then is they've forfeited their possibility of doing free transactions. They're playing the dividend card. This just kind of goes out the way. They take one of these, they choose any company, and they're going to go for this green one, and you put that there to show that's being completed. The green one is in the 4 section. They're going to get an 8 payout. And these guys, they made the right move. They have now 3 shares, so they're getting 12. So 3 times the 4 is 12 money for dividends. Boom. So that's their first section. Now they're going to play a card. They're going to play this card here. They're going to carry out all the actions they can see. So this is going to go at 1, 2. And porcelain's going 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Move these to the side and replenish. These guys then are... Now I'm not going to play too much longer, but I'm just going to demonstrate the black market for you. So here we go. They're going to forfeit their free transactions, play the black market. They leave it here. They're going to put these 2 coffee. You could have up to any combination of 3 things, and they've gone for these 2. And that is that go done. They go to play a card. And it's probably too early to have done this, but I just really want to show you how it works. So now they carry out all of these. This one's going down 2. This one's going at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move these sideways. Take a card. Back round here. They are going... They're going to hold on to their money. Are they going to do a dividend as well? No. Well, they kind of know looking ahead... Blues, maybe they can influence. They can influence the red here. Maybe they're just going to buy 1 blue because it's at 10. There we are. They buy that one. Place that there. Now, there's no limit to how many you have here. It's just a risk as to when to sell, when to buy, and whether you want to keep them for the end of the game. So they've bought one thing. They're going to hold on to their money. They haven't got too much left, and they're going to move on here. The card they're going to play is this one. They then carry out all of these again. So blues at 1, quick buck. -2 on the T. Then we're going up 2 more on here and 4 more down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now this is quite rare that you'll get this sort of moving quickly. It just happens that out of all these cards, there's a lot of, pricing cards and news around this particular company and that particular commodity going down. So they've activated those. They now move all these. This card's off, so this is discarded out of the game. That won't come back into play. And they will replenish. Done. These guys then are thinking, okay, I'm gonna buy. Let's buy. How low can this go? They're gonna get in now. They're gonna pay 5 for a copper. So they've bought 1, and that's it. They're leaving it there. They now play a card, and they should have probably looked at their hand first. And they're going to go... maybe they should have bought a blue one, knowing that those guys have got a blue company out there, and they could potentially influence that as well. But maybe they're just going to play this one here, because it counteracts what these guys could potentially do. And you'll see the importance of this now. So they played this card, so they're going to increase that by 1. And coffee's going to go down 2, which is a disaster for these guys. Well, not a disaster, but it's cost them a bit of money because they were just about to sell those goods on the black market at 21, whereas these guys have dropped it down to 19 now. So this is going to go up 2 here, and this is going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move these sideways. That's discarded, and they replenish back up. So over to the yellows then, they do the black market first, so they sell these 2 for the price that is there, 19, so that's what, 38. They're going to give 2 back there for 40. And they've made some dollar. This card is now being used, and they do now do their free transactions. That's kind of a separate aspect to it. So what are they going to buy? Maybe they're going to buy some porcelain, but they know it's going to go down at least 1 more time. Let's just say they bought 1 porcelain and they're going to pay 5, just to speculate slightly. Well, they should probably look at their hand and go, look, yep, I've got a porcelain +2 and a porcelain +2. We are going to buy 2 of them at 6, so it's going to be 12. They would have to pay free change there. You can see the influence your cards have. So we now have 2 of them. they are not going to play a card, but instead you can play that news card I mentioned. It's the final card I've not mentioned to you now. So instead of playing a card, you place this news card, and what happens is this, it kind of negates one of the slots having to be filled. So from now on, as you move these, so let's just follow the process. We're now going to look at all these. So we're going to go down 2 on that one, and we're going 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4 up on there. We move these sideways. This one's discarded. So you can see this kind of nullifies one of those spots. So it means there's less volatility, and as well, this news card gives you a chance to discard up to 3 cards in your hand. Maybe there's ones that you just don't really want and it's hindering what you want to do because you've got maybe, you know, loads of porcelain, but these could equally be negative and you're like, oh, I really could do positives. So you discard 3, and this is what this separate deck is for. So I would not have discarded those 2, but let's say I discard these 3 here, put them there. You take 1 from the main deck and 2 from this deck. I'm not too sure why they've done that. I think because this main deck running out triggers game end, and they kind of want a few cards so you have a pile to pick from. So they've now got, oh, they've got picked up a -2 there. So brings a bit more flavour. One time only, that news card. We've moved them over, and we replenish a card as well because we placed a card down, and that's the last bit there. There we are, folks. You literally keep going. You utilize these cards if you've got them less. You're buying, you're selling, you're trying to get in the black market, fix that price. Once you finish this deck, you carry on playing 2 rounds until each player has 3 cards remaining in your hand, and that is when you end the game. You sell any shares and commodities at the current price. So if you sold these now, you would get 20 for each one. You would add up the money you've generated through commodities and the shares in those companies with any money you've acquired throughout the game. Most money is the winner. There we are, Mercurius. What a nice little classic stock market game this is. Enjoy.